Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Hey, folks, today is Tuesday, September 16th, 2025, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. I am here in Rhode Island for the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic. Be hearing from Jeffrey a little bit later in tonight's show. On today's show, folks, man, we got lots to talk about. More black pastors speak truth to power from the pulpit regarding white nationalism and the murder of Charlie Kirk. We'll show you Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III, Bishop William Barber, and others. Also on today's show, explosive testimony on Capitol Hill as FBI Director Kash Patel, who's grossly unqualified, goes at it with Senator Cory Booker as well as Senator Adam Schiff. Folks, it was absolutely bonkers. We have a video for you as well. Plus, hangings. Two people found hung in Mississippi. One of them, a Delta State University student. What the hell is going on? We'll have that story for you as well. Also, we got lots to talk about on the issue of Donald Trump signing a memo sending the National Guard to Memphis. Plus, in tonight's Black Star Network Marketplace segment, we'll highlight fashion with a purpose. So lots to break down. And what happens when Chris Tucker and Johnny Gill finish playing a round of golf and then just decide to swing by the sound check here at the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic? Y'all, wait till I show you these two fools in action with the duet of my. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now. Martin.
folks, it's a live look at the Quidnesset Country Club here in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. This is where the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic took place today. We've been here for the last couple of days, and so it's been fantastic. We're going to be hearing from Jeffrey himself, J.O., a little bit later, Chris Tucker, Johnny Gill as well. And wait till I show y'all these two fools. After we played a practice round yesterday, we decided the band was playing. You can actually hear them right now. And Johnny and Chris, we all came in as we were doing sound check, and they were actually playing My. So these two actually did a duet. Y'all, it's absolutely hilarious. And wait till we show you lots more here as well. We're going to have for you next couple of days as well as we here for the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic. All right, folks, let's get into it. Talk about what's happening on Capitol Hill. It was crazy pandemonium as FBI Director Kash Patel went before the Senate. And, man, he got into it with everybody, whether it was Senator Adam Schiff, but he really got into it with Senator Cory Booker. Man, it was battle royale. Check out what happened.
Give your statement now.
Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to hand the Bureau. But here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Want to say, Boyd?
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my time.
I follow you on your social media posts that tear this country apart.
To address your falsehoods.
Oh, you can try all you want
in this country.
To not take responsibility for what you have said. Sir, you're making a mockery of this committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over. The people of New Jersey tell me what my time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me my time's over.
You may be the charge of the FBI,
I'm not going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth, talking over each other, doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond. And he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr. Chairman, one point of order.
Go ahead, Mr.
I've watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
he has been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
And when the senators were not giving him a chance to answer, I didn't stop the senator either. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the FBI, under my 7-month leadership, were failing this administration in this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone? A double increase from that time last year. Why is it that we have seized 6,000 weapons? Why have we found 1,500 child predators and arrested them? Why have we 300 human traffickers in jail? Why have we found and identified 4,700 children? Why have we seized 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill a third of the American public, a 25% increase alone from last year? 88,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, 700 kilograms of meth seized, and that's just on our criminal operations in summer heat? How is it possible that we're taking 8 kilograms off the streets of the cities in New Jersey and preventing the deaths of 607,000 people this year alone? A failure of the FBI and my leadership. How is it that we have counterintelligence arrests already this year exceeding the numbers from the entirety of last year? 33% increase in PRC, 83% in Russia, 60% in the CI space as it relates to Iran, and we haven't even talked about CT, the southern border, the northern border.
Well, not only Senator Cory Booker, he got into it with Senator Adam Schiff as well, calling him a coward. It was a whole bunch of back and forth going on. Kash Patel, you got some reports saying that Republicans are not happy at all with his performance in the wake of the murder of Charlie Kirk. Let's get into it with our panel. Joining us tonight, Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA of D.C. Dr. Larry J. Walker, associate professor, University of Central Florida, out of Orlando. Glad to have both of y'all here. Mustafa, here's what you have. When these folks testify, they are representing or speak or really talking to an audience of one, and that is Donald Trump. He wants to see people spar with the senators. He wants to see people going back and forth, shouting at them. And these people don't have any respect for Congress. They don't care. They know full well that they work for somebody who is uncouth, who has no values, principles, ethics, morals, or integrity, and so they are free to show their ass.
They are, and it's a shame that is the paradigm that we're operating from, because the three branches of government need to be able to work together. They need to be able to respect each other. They may not always agree, but that's the way our democracy is supposed to operate. And you've got this dynamic going on right now. I mean, the FBI has a responsibility around protecting the American people, around enforcing federal laws and national security, terrorism, cyber crimes, civil rights. They have a responsibility in that space also, and organized crime. And we just don't see them showing up in the way that the American people need them to. So we've got this dynamic right now where instead of folks actually doing the difficult work, and they do difficult work when it's done properly, we've just got, these folks who unfortunately just want to, play and not be serious about the particular sets of needs that are going on across our country. And unfortunately, the message comes from the top. So you're going to see secretaries, you're going to see administrators, you're going to see these other leaders in these federal agencies, whether on the enforcement side or on the civil side, who unfortunately just don't show up in a way that represents the offices that they come from.
I talked about the back and forth with Senator Adam Schiff, so let's roll that.
Want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of inmates.
Not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. We are bringing historic reform. Point of order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet. Before I go to Senator Tillis, without objection, I want to introduce into the record the Durham Annex. The Durham Annex is a declassified appendix to John Durham's report about Crossfire Hurricane. The Durham Annex contains information exposing a reported Clinton campaign plan to falsely tie President Trump to Russia. For years, I've fought to assemble and publicize all the facts here.
How Kash Patel treated Senator Adam Schiff, and clearly the chair of that committee, Chuck Grassley, wasn't doing his damn job, but he sure was trying to admonish Senator Cory Booker. Larry?
You know, Roland, I've never seen anything. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yep, we got you.
Like this. I've never seen anything like this in my career watching, hearings on the House and Senate side. This is like, reality TV, and not in a good way. And listen, I've never heard anyone testifying speak to a U.S. senator like that. And Roland, for folks watching, Senator Schiff is only one of 100. So the fact that he had the audacity to speak to him, like use the kind of terminology he used in an open hearing, and like I said, it's not like anything I've seen. And the other thing, Roland, for like people who are watching, there was a lot of misinformation coming out of his mouth about all these statistics. He said something about saving over 600,000 lives in New Jersey. I'm not sure how the administration comes up with these stats. As anyone could tell you knows anything about simple math, it just does not add up. So in addition to that, some of the other numbers he put out there relates to the border things. Those, I don't know if that's Homeland Security numbers, if there's numbers from the FBI. There's no clarification about where those numbers came from. So it's like I said, it was a lot of information. Certainly, like I said, like a lot of bad reality television. And, as Senator Booker said, Patel may not last very long, considering we know how the Trump administration likes to get rid of people we think aren't fighting hard enough sometimes.
Well, again, it goes to show you what kind of person we have leading the FBI, and it goes to show you the kind of idiot that actually appointed him to lead the FBI. All right, folks, got to go to break. We come back. More on Roland Martin Unfiltered, including we got some HBCU news. You've got a couple of hangings of folks falling hung in Mississippi, including an HBCU student. We'll also show you more black pastors speaking from the pulpit regarding the murder of Charlie Kirk and the rise in white Christian nationalism. Folks, you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network, coming to you live from gorgeous Rhode Island. Back in a moment.
Black Star Network, what's happening? It's your man, Kim. And look, my new single, Rock With Me, is on fire. We debuted as the #1 most added and greatest gainer at R&B radio. So look, I want you to go check it out at musicbykim.com. Listen to it, download it, tell me what you think about it. Also, make sure you sign up to be a part of my community so we can stay connected. At Music by Kim on all social media platforms. Thank you for rocking with me. And keep love on the one.
'Cause I want you to rock with me. We live in a strange world till the darkness falls forever. Baby, let's be the dawn. When it feels like it's taking me over, you're making me stronger, my sweet love.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Latasha from the A.
And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. The twice impeached, criminally convicted felon chief Donald Trump has signed an order calling for the National Guard to be deployed to Memphis. He's been talking about this for quite some time. He's gotten the participation, if you will, from the governor of Tennessee, Bill Lee. And so we're going to be speaking about this. In addition to that, that particular action, of course, we had just Representative Justin Pearson the other day. And, I was watching several videos. People were talking about this here. And, of course, Republicans are touting this But this is the latest disregard of norms that we are seeing. We're seeing the exact same thing when you look at the drastic cuts that they are taking, where Donald Trump thinks that he can just decide whatever Congress appropriates, but he says, oh, we're not going to sit here and pay this out. You see that going on as well. And Mustafa, this is a fundamental issue here that I think we have to address. The people need to understand. You have three branches of government. And so, again, I know we need schoolhouse rock in this country, but the reality is there are three branches of government. You have legislative, judicial, and executive. And what Donald Trump is doing, he's trying to corral all the power himself and put it together. And so this National Guard order, that's an example of it. The budget cuts, an example of it. The firing of workers. He tried to fire Lisa Cook. An appeals court said, sorry, you can't do that. Now they're trying to appeal that to the Supreme Court. And so there's so many examples where these folks literally are trying to do whatever they want. Then you got people like Senator John Fetterman who says, oh, no, this is not being an autocrat. This is a result of elections. And I'm like, dude, I mean, look, if you want to be a Republican, just go ahead and be one. But it's crazy. And people need to understand that if they're trying to usurp the authority on the federal level, from legislative and judicial, listen, they're saying the same thing on the state level. So they're going to be going into cities trying to do whatever they want to do because you've got a thug sitting in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I mean, we're just in this crazy moment right now, right? So they continue to create trauma every place that they go, every set of action that they do. And folks are supposed to just take it. They also continue to try and dismantle not just the norms, but the way that government is supposed to actually operate. Now, Congress, of course, is not doing their job. They have the ability to actually stop a lot of this foolishness, and they also have a responsibility around the budget and how dollars flow. And that's the interesting thing is because, over these past administrations, we'll always hear about being financially astute and making sure that we're utilizing those dollars in the proper way and make sure there are balances that are inside of how that moves. But when you look at the amount of money that's actually being utilized in this moment, taxpayer dollars, we got $120 million so far that was dedicated to the National Guard in Los Angeles. And then when you look at D.C., it's $134 million, and the numbers continue to climb. So how much more are we going to spend of taxpayer dollars in Memphis and a number of these other locations that are a part of his executive orders and moving the National Guard into these spaces? The other part of the equation is that, the National Guard usually does a couple of things. If there's significant civil unrest, they get engaged, or these natural disasters. We know we're in the middle of hurricane season. We know we've got wildfires going on. We've got all these different types of things where tax dollars and the members of the Guard are needed. But instead, we've got them all over the country, standing around on corners, picking up trash, and being a part of this false narrative. And I don't fault the men and women who are part of the National Guard. But we all know that even in Memphis, that crime has been going down. So you could better utilize the dollars by actually, investing in those strategies that people have put in place on the local level to actually address what's going on. But that would mean that you have to actually honor the leadership that's happening in the cities and in those counties. So we've just got this dynamic going on, and people should actually be speaking out. These are your tax dollars that they are utilizing, and they're getting very little result. Most people have a cost-benefit analysis who come out of business, and he got a whole bunch of supposed business people in his administration, but it just doesn't add up for the amount of money that's going in and what they're getting on the backside. So, we got to raise our voices, and we got to hold people accountable.
Here's a perfect example. I've talked about just this. I can do whatever I want to do. Okay. So the Trump folks announced they're going to be redirecting some $500 million to HBCUs. Last week, they announced they were cutting or just refusing to distribute $350 million to majority institutions with significant minority student population. And the Trump people say, oh, this is unconstitutional. Now, here's the problem with this, Larry. They don't get to just decide what's unconstitutional. The judicial branch decides what's unconstitutional. And so I would hope that, now look, that's great that they're trying to, first of all, they're trying to cover their asses by sending the money to HBCUs as well as tribal colleges. But the reality is, listen, you just can't declare what's unconstitutional yourself. That's judicial, and that's what they're doing. They are deciding on their own what they consider to be constitutional and unconstitutional. And I frankly hope that one of these institutions who gets screwed by cutting of these grants sues them, because Congress clearly didn't think it was unconstitutional when they allocated the money.
You know, Roland, it is really troubling to see what Congress has not done in terms of, when you talked about three branches of government, the framers of the Constitution, the way to design it. It has to be a perfect balance. And if members of Congress refuse to do their job, they're responsible for allocating money and control the purse strings. But as it relates to the president using the resources in any way possible, you talked about the funding he cut from minority serving institutions, and then a couple of days later say, I'm going to give it HBCUs. You can do both. You know, HBCUs and other MSIs have had, extraordinary support over the last several decades. So you can dramatically increase funding for all those institutions. You don't have to cut one, rob Peter to pay Paul. That's not how this works. In addition to that, as Mustafa highlighted, the administration is spending an enormous amount of money as it relates to the National Guard. And one of the things I don't think we're talking about enough as it relates to National Guardsmen, Roland, is that these individuals have jobs. They have families, they're caretakers, and some of them are in school full-time and part-time. And so essentially what's happening is they have to drop everything. They're, in D.C., and then we're talking about Memphis and who knows what other states and cities and locales. And it's disrupting their lives and disrupting the lives of their families. But also, once again, we know as it relates to crime in any jurisdiction throughout the United States, whether it's urban, rural, or suburban, you solve crime by focusing on mental health resources, education, job programs, and making sure young people have an outlet in the evenings and weekends. And we're not seeing it from the administration. In other ways, this is not going to work. It's just going to cause more disruption and eventually cause violence in these communities.
Absolutely. But again, when you have somebody who does what he does and who thinks that he can do whatever he wants to do, that's what you're seeing. Let's talk about what's happening in Congress. Republicans are daring Democrats to block a stopgap funding bill that will keep the government running. If they don't, the government will actually shut down by October 1st. Now, the bill would fund agencies at current levels with a few exceptions, including an additional $88 million to enhance security for lawmakers, members of the Supreme Court, in the executive branch. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries said that the House Republican-only spending bill does not address the needs of the American people and does nothing to prevent the impending health care crisis. He emphasized that Democrats will continue to oppose Republicans' unprecedented attack on the health care of the American people.
Their health, House and Senate Democrats have been very clear that we will support a bipartisan spending agreement that meets the needs of the American people in terms of their health, public safety, and economic well-being, meaning legislation that makes life better for everyday Americans as opposed to continuing to make life more expensive for the American people. House Democrats have been clear that we will not support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people. That's not a clean continuing resolution. It's a dirty spending bill, and one that is unacceptable. This country is in the midst of a Republican assault on the health care of the American people. Republicans have ended Medicaid as we know it. Millions of people have lost or will lose access to their health care coverage. We confront a possible cut to Medicare of $536 billion all across the country as a result of the Republican assault on health care. Hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health clinics are closing. Millions of Americans face the likelihood of dramatic increases in their health care premiums, co-pays, and deductibles. Republicans have launched an unprecedented assault on medical research, including research for children with cancer. In addition to attacks on the Centers for Disease Control, vaccine availability, and the public health infrastructure that has existed in the United States of America in order to keep the American people safe and healthy. Republicans have launched an unprecedented assault on the health care of the American people that is unconscionable and immoral. And it's our responsibility here in Washington to make sure that we aggressively push back against it.
Well, here's the deal. If they are not going to cede to what Democrats want to do, Larry, then what should happen is Democrats should say, fine, y'all pass it on your own, and we're not going to help you. I just believe that if you're going to be Democrats, you got to be the opposition party. You have to be the opposition party, which means you oppose, period.
And Rowan, the troubling thing, and Minority Leader Jeffries talked about this. There's a healthcare cliff coming over the next year and a half. Americans are not prepared for. We know there's a lot of conversation with the CRs related to ACA subsidies. But the other thing is, when we're looking at what's happening at HHS with, Secretary Kennedy as it relates to immunizations, vaccine issues, and all this stuff is going to come to a head over the next year and a half. Folks won't have access to physicians. They won't be able to get the treatment they need. If they want to get vaccines, they may not be able to afford it. And then we find ourselves in another situation. We get hit with another, disease, a virus, a pandemic, like we just saw a couple of years ago. We're going to be in very serious trouble because they've dismantled the healthcare system. And we're seeing inflation is going up over the last couple months. And we're only 8 months into this administration. Over the next couple months and several years, inflation based on tariffs and some of the other issues that we're dealing with, unemployment is going to continue to skyrocket. And so folks are talking about that, things are fine from the Republican side. But the reality is a lot of Americans will see food go up, food prices go up. And then we're going to see a lot of more of troubling issues over the next couple months. And if we don't do something right now, particularly the Democrats, and staying steadfast against this and saying no, and if you would pass the bill on your own, you have the numbers, then once again, you're just pretty much rubber stamping anything they want to do. And once again, these healthcare issues are monumental and going to cause serious problems in the United States.
And we also know what they're doing, Mustafa. They are wrecking the environment. They really don't care about any of that. And so Democrats, again, have to, at the end of the day, on the House side, all you can do is oppose. And my deal will be very clear. I'm not helping you do a damn thing.
You know what? I agree with you. And I once through a number of government shutdowns over the years. This government is broken, and maybe we need a reset because when we take a look at, as you mentioned, on the environmental side of the equation, they're saying it's okay for the American people and especially vulnerable communities to breathe dirtier air and drink dirtier water. So you don't have to just think about Flint or Jackson. You'll be seeing these types of things happening across the country. The government is broken because our energy crisis that is currently going on, because people are paying more and more to be able to cool their homes or to keep the lights on. And it is because of the neglect there in Congress and, of course, coming from the White House of folks not really being serious about what needs to happen in that space. Larry talked also about health care. I see clinic after clinic, especially rural clinics, that continue to shut down. I have conversations with both black farmers and white farmers who are struggling and are losing their farms. So the government, once again, continues to fail. We can look across the board. You go into the grocery store and these prices are just becoming mind-blowing. And once again, it is because the government continues to fail and is not serious. And they're getting, of course, the message from the White House that these are not priority issues when it comes to actually doing the work, not standing in front of a camera and talking about it, but actually getting behind closed doors and making sure that the legislation that is necessary is being introduced and then pushed through so that a president could actually sign it. But they're not worried about everyday people. So if the government is not going to do its job, then maybe it needs to shut down for a while, and then folks can get serious about the work that the American people are asking them to do, because folks are tired of writing checks to the government and getting nothing in return but less and less.
Absolutely. All right, folks, going to a quick break. We come back. We're going to tell you about Mississippi, 2 disturbing cases of someone found hung, including an HBCU student. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Be sure to support the work that we do by joining our Bring the Funk fan club. Your dollars make it possible for us to do what we do. Our goal is to raise $1 million between now and December 31st. If you want to contribute, please use the, if you want to be a Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see the QR code down there, bottom left. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks and money orders make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. Back in a moment.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
Hurricane Katrina, 20 years later. Cannot believe that it's been more than 20 years since we saw Black people and Black communities across New Orleans and the South being failed by our government. But it's a harrowing lesson. We're going to unpack how race and class intersect in ways and how we need to talk about this government doing more for our communities. Again, you're watching The Other Side of Change only on Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kim Coles.
Hey, I'm Donnie Simpson.
Yo, it's your man Deion Cole from Blackish, and you watch
Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Oh, it's quite a disturbing story out of Mississippi where 2 people have been found hung. The first tragedy unfolded at Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. Around 7 a.m., campus police discovered the body of 21-year-old student DeMartravion Trey Reed hanging from a tree near the pickleball courts. A few hours later in Vicksburg, authorities found 36-year-old Cory Zucadis, who was homeless, dead in a wooded area near the Ameristar Casino. Police say Reed's death appears to be a suicide. The circumstances of Zucadis' death remain under investigation. You know, when these things happen, Mustafa, obviously people get very concerned. We understand the history of lynching in this country. We also understand that a lot of people are concerned that it's often, very quick of local authorities to rush to that particular issue. And unfortunately, you don't have a federal Department of Justice that has any credibility when it comes to issue of race, especially the Civil Rights Division.
Right. And it's a shame because so many folks, put so much energy into actually making sure that that division had what it needed. If you look at the last administration, not perfect, but they definitely were better than we had seen in quite a while. And when you look at these types of cases, you do on the local level, folks always want to go automatically to suicide. And I'm not saying that that's not the case, but let's make sure that there's a real investigation what's going on. Because if somebody wants to kill themselves, if someone wants to take their life, there are all kinds of other ways to be able to do that. To be able to, whether it's to climb up a tree or to make sure that there's a noose around whatever it is, and to be able to take your life, that takes a lot. So we need to be very clear about that. We need to also understand that when we're talking about lynching, the thousands and thousands and thousands of Black lives, the confirmed ones that were killed through lynching, we know the history that exists there. And we also understand that Mississippi was #1 in those confirmed lynchings. So Billie Holiday, when she sang Strange Fruit, there was a reason why she brought that song forward and why, it was her #1 song, because it actually touched people at their core. And it continues to reverberate even today. So we need to make sure that there is a real honest investigation, and we need to understand those dynamics that took place. And if it wasn't suicide, we need to make sure that the right people are brought forward and that they're prosecuted. But that would mean that you got to have folks who actually care and who are going to do the right thing.
Larry?
Yeah, so we know that state officials are investigating. First of all, I want to send my condolences to Mr. Reed's family. The other thing is, Mustafa, and you talk about the Office of Civil Rights. Roland, during the Biden administration, we talked about Kristen Clark and the great work that she did for over the several years, and they've dismantled the Office of Civil Rights and for DOJ and the Department of Education. So if this federal officials need to come in and investigate. A, we know that's not happening. B, they don't have the resources to really properly investigate. Thirdly, do they even want to investigate? The other thing is we talk about Mississippi, certainly the South, and various other parts of the country there's a very disturbing link between hangings, brutal murders of Black people, and certain states and jurisdictions. And so I would love to see the Department of Justice go and investigate to make sure what these preliminary findings that we're seeing based on the autopsy are accurate. The other thing we have to keep in mind is a long history of Black people being killed. Autopsies, preliminary autopsies and final autopsies suggesting they were killed one way. And then we find an independent autopsy, or the federal government comes in, we find that something else happened that wasn't included in the overall report that police have written, or in terms of what they found in the autopsy. So once again, Roland, it would ease my mind if federal officials could come in and investigate. But as the four reasons why I identified, we can't trust or expect that at all.
And of course, it was supposed to be Delta State homecoming, and all centennial celebrations have been canceled, as well as councils have been made available for students, faculty, and employees to actually deal with the grief that they are experiencing. So we'll certainly keep up with the details on this particular story as well, because it is one that, again, a lot of folks are paying attention to. Let's go to Georgia. The Georgia Supreme Court has declined to hear Fulton County DA Fannie Willis's appeal regarding her removal from the state's election interference case against Donald Trump. The Georgia Court of Appeals ruled that Willis and her office must be removed due to her romantic relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, whom she appointed to lead the case. Of course, Trump praised the ruling as a great decision, reiterating that Willis's prosecution of him and others for attempting to overturn Georgia's 2020 election result is a rigged case from the start. Well, not true. Willis expressed her disagreement with the decision, but stated that she would transfer the case files and evidence to the Prosecuting Attorney's Council of Georgia so that a replacement prosecutor can be appointed. Even if this takes place, it seems unlikely that Trump himself can face prosecution now that he is sitting in the Oval Office. However, 14 other defendants remain charged in the case, including former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. You know what? And I've said from day one, Larry, and I've had people hit me and upset. And I said, I'm sorry. This is Fannie Willis screwed this up. Okay. Bottom line is she should have known. Listen, when you have a case like this, everybody is going to be paying attention. All eyes are going to be on it. And you go to your team and you say, hey, if y'all have anything in your closet, any problems, anything, let me know right now so you're not going to be on this case. Well, she sits here and is involved with Nathan Wade, and so she screwed this up. This is on her, and so this is not about. And I heard some people, they've been trying to say, well, you know what? I think you're just being a little too hard. No, you have to know you can't screw up, and this was a major screw up, and as a result of this, it delayed. This case could have been prosecuted before the election were it not for this screw up.
Yeah, Roland, you hit it right on the nose. You have to cross your T's and dot all your I's when you're getting in bed with vipers. And if you don't, then and you have skeletons in your closet, they will get exposed. And this is because the problem is the Roland, this hasn't really become about what really is in terms of trying to steal as many votes as possible, overturn the election. This becomes about a relationship and these conspiracy theories about people trying to bring down the current president. And that, as you highlighted, that is just not the case. And listen, I know, she's an elected official. You have to do better. We've all worked and talked to politicians and understand that, once again, if you're Black, that if you have anything that you don't want anyone to know about, and you are prosecuting a high profile figure, that information is going to come out. They're going to try to smear you because that's how things work. And so this case is DOA, Roland. We'll never hear about this case again. And you're right. If this is done a little differently, this case could have been already, went to trial and had a verdict. But once again, this is another one of the many mistakes historically, when we look back, that people have made that led to the rise of what we currently see with the current regime.
Mustafa.
I mean, Larry hit it on the head. We often say, when you know better, do better. You just got to take the L on this one. You cannot make these types of mistakes. Even if it wasn't a high profile case, you still shouldn't make these types of mistakes. You have a responsibility and a duty to the office that you hold to make sure that you're doing the right thing. So, lesson learned. Larry's right. This, will probably not be brought back up. And you just got to move forward. But I hope that, for young attorneys, folks who are in law school, who, they can review this case, that they'll learn lessons, and hopefully they will make sure that they don't make these same mistakes as they move throughout their career, because you have a responsibility to the people who put you in these offices.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I'm also paying attention to and looking at, and there are a number of stories that, of course, we're dealing with, and one of the things that jumps out at me, and we're going to deal with this whole issue of Christian nationalism in the second hour, and Black pastors talking about speaking about Charlie Kirk from the pulpit. But one thing that really I find to be interesting here is that the doxing and the targeting of people who are critics. And you've got folks who are now saying, Turning Point USA is going to be suing people who have made light of it. But first of all, you can't sue someone for defamation because the law is clear, Larry. When a person has passed away, you can't defame them. But what the real issue here, though, is threatening people and trying to silence them, while they're also trying to say that Charlie Kirk was about the First Amendment. And so it's really interesting as I'm seeing this, because, again, so this just, a couple of posts just came out about this very issue that really jumped out at me. And I was just kind of like, you're putting people's information out and telling people to call the employer. I mean, literally, Larry, yesterday, J.D. Vance even said to people, call someone's employee if you disagree with what they tweeted. That's crazy.
So, I love, as a researcher, I love looking at U.S. history. And Roland, this is modern day McCarthyism. All we see at the hearings today, some of the other hearings, the red lists, of individuals that, couldn't, not only in terms of travel outside the United States, that's a whole nother conversation, but essentially were blacklisted from jobs, opportunities, actors, actresses, et cetera. We can go on. So the other thing that's troubling about all this is that we when I mention McCarthyism is we don't seem to learn from our past mistakes. We repeat them over and over again, and that's what we're seeing right now. So it's interesting enough, people talk about, certain political affiliations, that that freedom of speech is critically important, particularly when it was hate speech. Now you can't even re-quote what someone says without it being a problem. And that is not democracy, and it's not protecting the right to free speech. So either you believe in the ability for people to express themselves fairly without threatening people, or you don't. You can't have it both ways. And so when we talk about the rise of authoritarianism, limiting individuals' democratic rights, that includes, people making sure they're pressuring individuals not to say anything about anybody. And regardless if you agree, if you don't, or agree if you don't. Let's also highlight, Roland, for years that Black people have continuously watched people say racist things, and we've been told that we just kind of have to accept it. It's connected to the freedom of speech. But if we offer a simple critique, like I said, repeating someone's words, then we find ourselves in front of a firing squad, and that is not democracy.
We'll talk more about that in our second hour. Coming up next, we're going to discuss the deployment of the National Guard to Memphis in our second hour. We'll talk about white Christian nationalism. Also hear from Black pastors speaking from the pulpit regarding Charlie Kirk and white Christian nationalism. Our marketplace segment will have that. Plus, we'll show you Chris Tucker and Johnny Gill doing a duet of My here at the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic in Rhode Island. And we'll hear from Jeffrey Osborne himself. A packed second hour. You don't want to miss it right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Now streaming on the Black Star Network.
I have name recognition, but I tour more than any rapper. And it's a lot of overseas stuff. And it's like I'm going all over I've been to 80 countries in my lifetime. And sometimes I'll do interviews with people, and they be like, "So, what you been doing?" Like, what you been doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just came back from Belgium and Brazil and South Africa. What you been doing?
Right.
This week on the other side of change.
Hurricane Katrina, 20 years later. Cannot believe that it's been more than 20 years since we saw Black people and Black communities across New Orleans and the South being failed by our government. But it's a harrowing lesson. We're going to unpack how race and class intersect in ways and how we need to talk about this government doing more for our communities. Again, you're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Marissa Mitchell, a news anchor at Fox 5 DC.
Hey, what's up? It's Sammy Roman, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, Donald Trump is deploying the National Guard to Memphis over the objections of people there in Memphis. Texas Tennessee Governor Bill Lee gave his approval of that, angering folks in Memphis. This is just one of the crazy things that you have now, flanked by white folks with no representatives from Memphis. The twice impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief, Donald Khan Trump, signed the memorandum to deploy U.S. National Guard troops into Tennessee to, he says, restore law and order. The decision comes a month after he did the same thing in Washington, D.C. Here's this idiot talking.
At the request of Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee, who's standing with us, as you know, I'm signing a presidential memorandum to establish the Memphis Safe Task Force, and it's very important because of the crime that's going on, not only in Memphis, in many cities, and we're going to take care of all of them, step by step, just like we did in D.C. We have virtually no crime in D.C. right now. In 2024, Memphis had the highest violent crime rate, the highest property crime rate, and the third highest murder rate of any city in the nation. Other than that, they're doing quite well, thank you. A person is 4 times more likely to be murdered in Memphis, Tennessee today than in Mexico City. It's been, and you know Mexico City is not a cakewalk. It's been overrun with carjackings, robberies, shootings, and killings. There were 249 murders, 429 rapes, 5,616 burglaries, and 12,522 violent assaults in just the last little while in 2024 and in pieces of 2025, where it's actually gotten worse until recently when we sent the FBI down to see what the hell is going on.
Folks, joining me right now is Antonio Parkinson, Tennessee State Representative, representing Memphis, and also Memphis City Council member J.B. Smiley Jr. Glad to have both of you here. I'll start with you, Representative Parkinson. So does the governor just go, what the hell? I don't have to talk to anybody from Memphis. I don't have to inform them. I just can do whatever I want.
Pretty much, and the difference between Memphis and Chicago or Illinois rather, and California is that we have a Republican governor, and that Republican governor is in lockstep with President Trump, and President Trump saw a way to get this thing moving, or I call it a surge, get this surge moving in Memphis, because there's no resistance from the governor of the state of
Tennessee. What is crazy to me, Councilman, is that Republicans love talking about local control. They love talking about big government overreach. But it seems that that's only the case when they control local government.
Absolutely. I think when you look at communities like Memphis, local control doesn't apply because they do not believe that predominantly black communities can govern themselves. But if you look at the statistics will show you that crime in our city has gone down. I just believe that the stats or the facts don't find a way to make it to Truth Social. He doesn't care about what's happening in the city of Memphis. This is campaigning as opposed to trying to find a way to put people in a better position.
So Mayor Paul Young, we reached out to him again. They say he was not available tonight. We're going to keep trying to get him on the show. Say that he is going to cooperate with them, but should he? And when you say cooperate, what does it actually mean?
Yeah, I think is that for me, Roland?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I think it's important that there is a line of communication that is open and, between the mayor and the governor. When you think about all of the resources that they are sending, it is every department under the president's purview, every department under the governor's purview, and then there's the national guard. And so you're looking at a really, really large contingency of individuals that are coming into the city. Now, the mayor could choose the lane of, not having any communication with them and not being at the table with them, and that leads whatever it is that they want. Or he can choose the lane to, keep a line of communication, going with the governor so that he can have some input, in, what they do and how they do it and how these resources are positioned.
Roland, if I may, I just take a completely different position. I don't believe that we should be necessarily attempting to cooperate with an administration who does not cooperate with us. If you look at the press conference that the gentleman who occupies the White House had, there was no one from the community of Memphis. There was no one who looked like us. Matter of fact, I just got through knocking doors in the city of Memphis today. What the people of Memphis want us to do, they want us to have backbone. It's time for our leaders to stop trying to go to places that don't want us. It's time for us to stand up for the people who elected us. They want us to fight back, and this council is poised and ready to fight back. Stay tuned.
So, so state rep, here's the question. Okay, since the governor all of a sudden now cares about Memphis, are y'all preparing to put before him a massive request? Say, no, wait a minute. So, and to be honest, what I would do is I would say, all right, this is what the National Guard costs in D.C., and so this is what the National Guard is going to cost in Memphis. We want to see that amount of money come back to Memphis when it comes to crime prevention and the things necessary to also reduce crime. And then let's see what he then says.
You know, it's interesting. So let me make sure we're clear on this. I am not the mayor's spokesperson. However, these conversations, that exactly what you're saying, as a matter of fact, Roland, are conversations that are taking place. But those conversations cannot take place if there is no line of communication. One of the things that we have to think about, right? There's an opportunity here for the mayor to get an inventory of the individuals that they are sending to Memphis, such as those specialties that these National Guard members hold, right? Those specialties can be used in the places where there are shortcomings in the city of Memphis. Give you an example. Military police officers. I'm prior military. The military police officers on the base guarded the gates. We are short when it comes to individuals working in our jails. And some of the things that are taking place in our jails is because they're short-staffed, right? There's an opportunity there. Administrative positions. If there are administrative positions being sent to Memphis, they can use those administrative positions in the police department where there are shortcomings. Free up officers to be out there on the streets to help. You know, so there's opportunity here. And nobody said, let me be clear about this. Nobody said, hey, we want the National Guard sent to Memphis. Neither the mayor said that, nor anybody else that I know that's in the East. However, if it is outside of your purview, your power, and the governor has by law the power to do that, then it is better to have someone at the table and so you can protect your people as much as possible than not. It just makes logical sense.
Well, I absolutely agree with that. But Councilman, what I'm saying is anyone in Memphis responding to the governor by saying, okay, you have made the decision to do this. Here is our request. If you say you care about crime, here's our $300, $400, $500 million crime prevention plan. Is that happening?
Well, I just think it's, dishonest to tell people we're at the table. We are not at the table. We were in this situation last year when we talked about how to reduce crime in the city of Memphis. The people of Memphis said they want gun reform. The city council had to fight the state to put a gun referendum on the ballot. And when we attempted to do that, guess what the state told us? They told us they're going to take money from us. They're not concerned with providing resources. They're concerned with theatrics. They're concerned with the gun lobby. They're not concerned with the lives of the people of Memphis. And yes, we've consistently asked the state for more resources. But guess what happens? They give us the bare minimum because they do not care about the people of 901. So the people of 901 have to stand up for themselves.
Okay. All right. So now I'm confused. I need to be clear here. Is Memphis at the table or not? And if Memphis is at the table, according to you, State Rep, who's at the table?
The mayor of Memphis has an open line of communication with the governor of the state of Tennessee.
Gotcha. So, but here's my question, though. That's the mayor. But you're a state rep. You've got council members. They also have constituents. And so are other elected officials in Memphis, are they also saying to the governor, you need to be meeting with us. You need to be meeting with our constituents, as opposed to only the mayor?
You know, there are many people that have lines of communication with the governor, not just myself, but Leader Karen Camper, Senator Ramesh Akbari. There are many of us that have lines of communication with the governor. It's not just the mayor.
I got it. Okay, I got it.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Yes. So there are lines, but here's what I still need to know. If there are lines of communication, who is presenting the governor with a comprehensive multi-million-dollar plan, and how much is that? Is that being done? Because if the governor is saying, oh, I care about crime, we all know policing is not how you solve crime. You solve crime with crime prevention, with resources, with jobs, with housing. And so what I'm asking is has that plan been presented, and how much is it, and who's driving it? That's what I want to know.
Is that a question for me? Because I'm answering. several members.
Yeah, I want to put it to you, state rep, then the council member.
Okay. Several individuals that are in elected positions have said exactly what you're talking about and have said it publicly. And so that information is definitely getting to the level. The mayor has said it also. I have said it also. And there are other individuals that are saying the same thing. So, yes, to your question.
What I think is happening.
So, Councilman, how much? Go ahead.
Happening is we're confusing a line of communication with someone actually taking heed to what we're saying as a people. I can call someone every single day, doesn't mean they're going to hear me. Our question as a community is, if we present this robust plan that says, hey, we need investment in education, we need investment in infrastructure. Matter of fact, we need more jobs so that we can lift people up out of poverty, good paying jobs. No one is sending more resources to our community. This administration, this current presidential administration has forgotten about the people of Memphis. I don't believe, no matter what the elected officials who have line of communications with the governor or with the president will get us more resources. We've been asking for more resources for a very long time. We've been asking them to pave Elvis Presley for a very long time.
Questions from my panelists. Mustafa, you first. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. State rep, go ahead. Make your comment. Then we're going to go to question with my two panelists. Go ahead.
I sit and I hear and I vote for the state budget every single year for the last almost 16 years. And there has been, and I'm not here to defend the governor or anybody else. We fight for everything that we try to get up there from the state of Tennessee to go into Memphis. And there are millions of dollars that are in the state budget that are allocated to the city of Memphis and Shelby County. This I know for a fact. And in the last budget, if I'm not mistaken, or the budget prior, we put millions of dollars that would go directly to the hardest or the most violent 9 zip codes in the city of Memphis. And that went to the city.
Okay. Mustafa.
Yeah, well, thank you both for being here. I think maybe you could give some clarification, because when Trump shared why he was sending folks there to Memphis, he said that crime had not gone down this year. I've seen various stories and statistics that have said that there was a decline. Since you are there on the ground, could you share clarification for folks who are watching the show? Maybe we'll start with the state rep.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So here's how the crime numbers are calculated. When the information is input into the system through Memphis Police Department, it goes to the FBI. It goes directly to the FBI. The FBI then spits out those numbers. The biggest or the peak of the crime numbers, the violent crime numbers in Memphis, came from the last administration. This year, in 24 and 25, those numbers started coming down. And those are the numbers that Mayor Young, and I'm sure the councilman agrees with, that are the numbers right now.
Larry.
Yeah, gentlemen, thank you for coming on this show. And so my question is, so we signed the order, so National Guard is coming to the city. My question is, gentlemen, is what are you doing to make sure residents are informed in terms of protecting their rights? Obviously, Memphis is a city, so you have some folks who are undocumented. But in addition to those individuals, we know that, there are a lot of Black folks who are concerned about what's coming in the next couple of days. So what is it you're doing in terms of working with nonprofit organizations, maybe the NAACP, ACLU, churches, synagogues, whatever other organizations, in terms of making sure that particularly Black folks know what their rights are if they encounter someone from the Guard?
Absolutely. So on Thursday, the Memphis City Council, well, a couple of members of the Memphis City Council will have a press conference coupled with some of those nonprofits that you mentioned, whether you're talking about Memphis for All, whether you're talking about Micah, whether you're talking about just good folks in the community who understand the rights. We're going to talk about our opposition to the National Guard coming, but we're going to allow those organizations where you talk about Memphis Urban League to explain to the people of Memphis their rights in terms of what they need to do to protect themselves and make sure they're keeping themselves safe during this time. We're doing everything we can to get the information out and look forward to information being shared by some of those nonprofits at the press conference we're going to have on Thursday.
Yeah, hey, I'm glad you had
Ben. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I'm glad you asked the question because, we, as a state representative, I have two statutory duties. One is to pass the budget of the state, and the other one is to pass laws with the state. But I have two other duties that are not statutory in nature. And that one is to educate the constituency, educate our people, right? And the other is constituent service. But let's talk about the education piece. I think this is the most important thing that we can deliver now as elected officials and leaders. I literally just got off of doing a live video and walking all of the people that were on that live video through each line of the executive order that the president signed and put into effect, making sure that they understood what the scope of this thing was, what these people are trying to do, who they're trying to send in, and what effect it's going to have on us. And so in that executive order, it laid out everything from every department under the purview of the president in conjunction with every department under the purview of the governor and with local leadership and local departments, along with the National Guard and ICE. And I thought it was incredibly important that our people know what they are to expect so they can move and navigate accordingly to be able to make sure that they keep their families safe and make sure that they keep their children safe and our black males, young black males, and our young black females.
All right, gentlemen, I surely appreciate it. We'll be staying on top of what happens there in Memphis. Thanks a lot, and look forward to having Mayor Paul Young on the show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Folks, going to a break. We come back. Black pastors speak out regarding Charlie Kirk and white nationalism, and also an expert on white Christian nationalism also lays out some bare facts. We'll have that next, right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 people, 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year. That's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. Your support is crucial to us being able to cover the news that matters to you where we center African Americans. If you want to give to us via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here, bottom left-hand corner. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Check some money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Back in a moment.
This week on the other side of change.
Hurricane Katrina, 20 years later. Cannot believe that it's been more than 20 years since we saw Black people and Black communities across New Orleans and the South being failed by our government. But it's a harrowing lesson. We're going to unpack how race and class intersect in ways and how we need to talk about this government doing more for our communities. Again, you're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
What's good, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh, and you're watching my brother Roland Martin Unfiltered as we go a little something like this. Hit it. It's real.
Folks, we're seeing a dramatic discussion increase of white Christian nationalism. And author Melissa Dalton Bradford is explaining, she explains in social media posts how Christian nationalism is making a comeback here in the United States. This is what she had to say.
Hello, my dear friends. Let's talk about something that is personal to me, that is urgent to me, that I've posted on a number of times, but I can't post on it enough. History is repeating itself right in front of us. As a follower of Jesus Christ, you know I'm a woman of faith. I don't make any efforts to hide that. I'm watching the rise of Christian nationalism in America, and it is terrifying. And if you think, well, that could never really go wrong, spend 2 minutes with me. And let's look honestly at what happened in Germany before World War II. I'm coming to you from Germany. I've studied this so deeply. In the 1930s, many German Christians surrendered their faith wholesale to the rising power of Adolf Hitler, whom they eventually worshipped. The Nazis wanted to fuse Christianity with nationalist, racist, and authoritarian ideas. So what did they do? They created something called the Reichskirche, or the Church of the Empire, a so-called Christian church that put the state, and of course its leader, above the gospel. And the tragedy also was that many church leaders who were hungry for power and security, they embraced it wholesale. They twisted scripture to justify racism and anti-Semitism and violence. Loving your neighbor fell off the commandments first. It was forgotten. Instead, loyalty to nation and leader became the new leading commandment. And what also happened is that most Christians then went along. Obviously, their priests and their pastors were leading the way. And genuine faith was replaced by political dogma. The cross was, decorated in a flag, and Jesus was reduced to some sort of a mascot for the empire. And that is exactly what Christian nationalism is doing today in my home country, in the U.S. It demands Christians put America first, their political leader first, and it says that true faith means loyalty to one party and one leader, no matter the cost to Jesus's actual teachings. So we see Christian symbols that are used and Christian language that is used to push policies of exclusion and even violence. We see truth bent to fit propaganda. We see a movement that thinks it alone defines what Christianity is and who belongs in God's family and who even belongs in the nation. And we know what comes when the church becomes an arm of the state. The lesson of the Reichskirche of Germany, where I have lived for many, many years, is clear. Whenever faith bows down to political power, it corrupts both the church and the country. It happened here in Germany. It can happen anywhere, including, yes, the United States of America, and it's our sacred duty to resist, to follow Jesus, not Caesar, to love the least of these, not to chase earthly power. Christians out there, don't be fooled. History is yelling a warning. The question is if you'll listen. And
folks, a lot of black pastors have been speaking about this rise in white conservative Christian nationalism in the past week. Sunday, several of them talked about in the aftermath of the shooting death of Charlie Kirk. Also, in terms of what's happening in D.C. with the occupation there. So you're about to hear from Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III. Also, let's pray for Dr. Haynes, my alpha brother. They announced on Sunday he's taking a medical leave of absence, having surgery for an undisclosed illness. And so also we'll be hearing from Michael Waldron Jr. Of First Corinthian Baptist Church in New York City, Reginald Sharp Jr., senior pastor of Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church in Chicago, and also we'll be hearing from William Lamar, pastor of Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church, talking about doing ministry under occupation. He talked about this a couple of weeks ago. So let's hear from these brothers.
We live in a nation where twisted, toxic theology is poisoning the politics of this nation. Have you thought about the fact that this week in Utah, a white Christian got killed by a white Christian? And then the next day, HBCUs were under threat. Now, how did we get in it? I mean, that's called white-on-white crime. You came the wrong Sunday if you thought I'm sorry, I see y'all are real sophisticated and you look really good. I hope they warned you about me, okay? Because on this Sunday, we gonna keep it 100. On this Sunday, we gonna tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And so here they are. Here they are. In Utah. It's more of us in church than in Utah. We ain't got nothing to do with what they just did. A white Christian gets killed, murdered, not assassinated. We're going to tell the whole truth today. Martin King got assassinated. Malcolm X got assassinated. Medgar X got assassinated. Don't compare Kirk to King. Ain't no such comparison now. Let me hasten to say, I'm anti-political violence. Kirk should still be alive. I don't agree with the time with anything Kirk said. What Kirk said was dangerous. What Kirk said was racist, rooted in white supremacy, nasty, and hate-filled. But he still should be alive. He still should be playing with his kids. He still should be experiencing the love with his wife. He still should be experiencing life as he saw it. I don't want anybody, please hear me well, anybody to be victimized by political violence when I'm going to keep it a buck. Because one of the things that gets me, and we got some politicians in here, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to come for you if you ever say this. If you ever say, America, we better than this. You lying. You lying. We ain't better than this. America was born in political violence. America committed political violence during the slave trade. America committed political violence when black bodies hung as strange fruit on southern trees. America committed political violence against the Irish, against the Italians before they became white. America committed political violence when America passed Jim and Jane Crow laws. What do you think political violence was? Political violence when they bombed and massacred Black Wall Street, when they massacred Rosewood, when they massacred whites and blacks in Wilmington, North Carolina. What do you think political violence is? Martin being killed, that's political violence. John Kennedy being killed, political violence. Robert Kennedy being killed, political violence. And you gonna say we better than this? No, you can't fix what you won't face until you look in the mirror and say this is a violent country that has done violence to too many people. We will never get our act together. It's time to repent, because if my people called by my name humble themselves and pray, turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sin, and heal the land. Talking about we better than this. No, we ain't. We ain't better than this. We ain't better than this. But to get better, you got to acknowledge what's wrong.
Anyone who sets himself up as religious by talking a good game is self-deceived. This kind of religion is hot air and only hot air. Real religion, the kind that passes muster before God the Father, is this: reach out to the homeless and loveless in their plight and guard against corruption from this godless world. Amen? Well, put your hands together and give the Lord a hand clap. Praise you. Take your seat. I want this morning, just very briefly and very intentionally, to speak about the idolatry of counterfeit religion. The idolatry of counterfeit religion. In this book, the book of James, this first chapter in particular, the writer of James is warning against what can be viewed as performative religion. superficial religion that is steeped in ritual and even words, but not connected to embodiment and practice. The writer of James warns us that religion that is only built on words is hot air, a performance with no power. And the idea of a religion based on words is really how Christianity in the West, and in this country in particular, bears its origins. Now, it's too long for me to explain the origin of this, but what happens is when religion is not connected to practice, but simply having the right words or quote-unquote right doctrine, then you hold people accountable for what they say, how they say it, but not what they do. This is why there's so many people who can claim to be Christian, because they believe that when it's convenient, they have the right words to say and maybe even the right doctrine, but it doesn't line up with their practice. I've said this before, it's amazing how even during the time of slavery in this country, there were people, slave masters, slave owners, who went to church on Sunday, sang hymns, prayed prayers, read scripture, and when church was over, went to lynch a black body. Because in their minds, it was easy to declare the words that sound right, but there was a disconnection between what was coming out of their mouth and what they were actually practicing. Across history, we've watched religion morph from a call to serve into a tool to rule, from a source of healing for the broken to a brand for the powerful. Christian nationalism, or those whose Christianity is not shaped by Jesus, but those whose Christianity is shaped by white supremacy, and the racist misuse of Christianity, what the writer James called the self-deceived. Just because you say God or use the word Jesus doesn't mean that any of those things have infiltrated your heart. This distorted and dangerous use of Christianity baptizes the American flag, crowns leaders with divine approval, even if the leaders are not really leaders shaped after God's own heart, and then has the audacity to equate patriotism with holiness. This is not real religion. It is the idolatry of power. Sometimes we don't think we can say those words. We can critique people for having counterfeit or false religion, but Jesus did it. And so we walk in that same tradition. We can tell by the way it sounds and how it manifests itself. This is performative Christianity at best. It takes the language of church, the language of religion, the language of the gospel, and bends it into a mythology of dominance, equating God's blessings with the nation's supremacy and white supremacy with holiness, and view political control as a divine mandate. This is counterfeit religion. You need to hear that today, because what I realize is that there are a whole lot of people who do not know the history of Christianity, do not understand the teachings of Jesus, who fall victim to the kind of teaching that, again, aligns Christianity with power, domination, and oppression, with mean-spiritedness and hate-filled language, and somehow think because you say you're a Christian, we ought to believe that. You cannot use the Bible to destroy people's lives. And more than that, you cannot be someone who spews hate, who undermines bodies that are black and brown, who declares harmful, destructive rhetoric against people you don't like, and then you say you're a Christian. Because you say you're a Christian, somehow your words are sanctioned by God. No, that's false. Counterfeit religion. We cannot forget that in this country, Christianity has been used to justify slavery, segregation, and the subjugation of entire peoples. It is not just white supremacy, it is the theology of whiteness, not of color, but of power. It is a kind where scriptures are twisted, pulpits weaponized, and they seek to make Jesus a mascot of the American country, or make Jesus a mascot of the empire. That is counterfeit religion. Again, it is not religion that is steeped in the teachings of Jesus, and we must be able to call that to the table.
I want us to be mindful that just because there are bigots in the land, and just because there's some hate-filled people that are in the land, don't allow their hate to seep into your spirit. Don't allow their littleness to make you little. Don't allow their vitriolic, violent rhetoric to decenter you from the truth that you are made in the image and the likeness of God. And it's a lot of nuance. Everybody say nuance. Nuance. I want you to get that word in your vocabulary, because you, like I, have had a lot of conversations this week with people who are on one side of the tracks and some who are on the other side of the track. Some are conservative, some are liberal, some are Democrat, some are Republican, some are white supremacist racists, and others are people of color who are dealing with the sting of that supremacy in their lives. But guess what? We're all God's children, and two things can be true at the same time. Charlie Kirk did not deserve to die like that. Nobody deserves to die because of their opinions, because of their political views. The church is quiet. Nobody deserves to be assassinated in a democracy because they may feel a way that's different than another person. At the same time, that person who is assassinated could have been a very problematic person to people who don't look like them in this nation. So we can critique assassination, but also call out the rhetoric that he used and say, you shouldn't have been saying that in the first place. And then for a president to lower a flag half-mast for Charlie Kirk, but not acknowledge the legislators who were assassinated in Minnesota, not even acknowledge them. As a president, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You're not the president of the people you like. You're the president of all American people. And so everybody say nuance. It's nuance. It's complex. And you can't just come in with your parochial, limited, narrow view of life. Be broader to listen to other perspectives at the same time, because you can walk and chew gum. Two things can be true at the same time. Our president is problematic to the safety of all Americans in this nation. White, black, green, purple, red, orange, blue. President Trump's rhetoric is divisive. You don't come back after something that tragic and blame the left, because the left didn't shoot up Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston. The left didn't shoot up Sandy Hook Elementary School. The left is left and right. And if we're going to be balanced, you got to be balanced on left and right, or else you have a nation with vertigo. And it's hard to walk straight when you're dizzy. The left and the right have to balance and find a way to live together, or else we're going to die together.
I can mourn deeply a person's violent death as a human being and a brother in the human family, but still greatly disagree and debate the policies and views he or she had while they lived. I can call someone Mr. President if they hold the office and still declare that they are living and acting beneath that office and abusing that office and misusing that office. The Declaration of Independence teaches us this. The Declaration of Independence teaches us that when policies and politicians are abusive, it is the right, it is the duty of people to say and do something, to dissent, to challenge, and if necessary, to change that form of government.
So Washington, D.C., so Metropolitan AME Church, we are doing ministry under occupation. Around August 12th, the White House deployed about 800 National Guard troops and about 500 federal agents to the federal city. And we must do ministry here under occupation. And might I say this morning, thus far, y'all are doing pretty good. Choir, y'all singing like a choir on fire under occupation. Musicians, you all are playing like musicians on fire under occupation. And people of God, as we worship, as we give our energy, as we engage our bodies, our spirits, and our soul, we are on fire under occupation. Can I tell you, the other day when we hosted the prayer vigil and Dr. Bryan preached, when we were preparing, Cosette and other media folk let me know that the White House had called. The White House had called to check to see what kind of prayers we would be praying. I need y'all to hear this. It probably is one of the melanated MAGA folk who, did y'all hear what I said though? Melanated MAGA folk who is in charge of Negro affairs in that White House figured out that we were having some, and they called to ask, what kind of prayers will you be praying, and what will you be doing, and how long will it last? And they were wise enough to answer that for me. Because I would have let them know that we were praying prayers of revolution. Prayers that God would take down the mighty and lift up the lowly. We would be praying prayers of revolution, that rough places would be made smooth and crooked places pray. That we would be praying prayers of revolution, that the waters of justice would flow in this city and in this nation. That we would sing songs of revolution. That's what we are doing. And y'all need to be clear that they are here this morning. That they are everywhere, but I need them to understand that we were not afraid then, and we will not be afraid now. In the midst of the occupation, we will keep doing what we've always done, preaching like we've always preached, serving like we've always served. We will not roll over under occupation.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shooting.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking all things entrepreneurship. Whether you want to jump right in, take a leap of faith, or you've just been thinking about it for a while, we're having a one-on-one candid conversation with Dr. Tierney, our level up coach and YouTuber of the amazing Hey Sugar. So let's talk about entrepreneurship.
Before you jump out here, know that it is some work that goes into it. And not necessarily the work in the business itself, but some inner
work. That's this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie on Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Jamia Pugh. I am from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, just an hour right outside of Philadelphia.
My name is Jasmine Pugh. I'm also from Coatesville, Pennsylvania.
You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Stay right here.
Folks, hashtag End the Stereotypes is a T-shirt apparel company with a mission to break down harmful stereotypes. Joining us right now from Gulfport, Mississippi, is founder Yolanda Crawford. Yolanda, welcome to Roland Martin Unfiltered. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great. All right, so where did this idea come from? Where did it start?
It started back in 2009 when I was living in Tennessee. And I went through the mall and I saw a gentleman wearing a shirt that said, "I support single mothers." But on the shirt was a woman on a pole, giving the image, she was an exotic dancer. And that image really bothered me because I am a single mother and that's not who I am. So that evening, I couldn't shake it. And so it came to mind, how can I combat this? How can I let people know that is not who all single mothers are? And I just began to sketch out, I am a single mother. I am not promiscuous. I am not on welfare. I am not, and that's how the idea became. And then I just expanded to, I am a Black woman. I am not loud. I'm not angry. I'm not ghetto. I'm not bitter. I thought about my father, my brother, my son, thought about what they are facing as Black men, and the idea just grew from there.
And you started this when?
2009 was when it was first started. I launched my first website in 2012, and we revamped in 2021.
So you revamped in 2021, and so how's it gone so far?
So far, it's going well. We are still small but growing, but definitely we're getting more attention, more sales. We're growing faster now.
Gotcha. And what would you say is your most popular shirt?
The most popular shirt by far right now are the I Am a Black Woman t-shirts as well as the I Am a Black Man t-shirts.
All right, then. Questions from my panel. Mustafa, you first.
Yeah. Well, sister, thank you for doing this. It's always important to correct the narrative and to bring forth the beauty that exists in our community. I'm curious, as your business is growing, where do you see yourself in the next couple of years?
I want to develop a full fashion brand. So not just t-shirts and hoodies. We want to be top and bottom in retail stores, in New York Fashion Week. I want it to grow, but not just for, any general purposes. I want people to become more knowledgeable of how harmful stereotypes are and how they affect our community.
Larry?
Yeah, congratulations on your success. So my question relates to, what are you doing? Like you've got some great, very creative T-shirts. What do you do to protect the product, right? There are a lot of, entities out there that replicate, T-shirts, et cetera, hats. What are you doing to protect your brand from that happening?
We are still working on that. The brand itself is trademarked. We are working on how we can protect our designs. That's still a work in progress. Right now, it's just, we're just praying. But we didn't want to wait to get our ideas out there, our messages out there. But we are working with attorneys on how to continue to protect our designs and our wording as they continue to roll out.
How many different designs do you have?
Right now, we have about 14 different designs.
Okay, 14 different designs. So, what would, now, did you come up with all of these, or did your users, did your fans also, your supporters suggest different shirts they would like?
These are all my ideas so far. We are open to hearing from our fans, from our buyers, of what else they would like to see. But so far, all of the designs that are on the website currently were all born from me.
All right, then. Well, folks, if y'all want to check out these shirts, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. They're on the website. You can check it out, shopblackstarnetwork.com. Hashtag in the stereotypes. Look at all the different designs. You want to get one of these shirts? Please do so by going to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Yolanda, we certainly appreciate it. Congratulations on this, and hopefully folks will buy all your product up.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. We appreciate all that you are doing as well for the community.
Thanks a bunch, folks. Quick break. We come back. We'll chat with Jeffrey Osborne here at the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic here in Rhode Island. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Now streaming on the Black Star Network.
I have name recognition, but I tour more than any rapper. And it's a lot of overseas stuff, and it's like I'm going all over I've been to 80 countries in my lifetime, and sometimes I'll do interviews with people, and they be like, "So, what you been doing?" Like, what you been doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just came back from Belgium and Brazil and South Africa. What you been doing?
Right.
Hey, yo, what's up? It's Mr. Dalvin right here. What's up? This is KC. Sitting here representing the JODECI. That's Jodeci. Right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, y'all can tell I'm in Rhode Island. It's like 62 degrees. Temperature is dropping. A little breezy out here. Brother ain't ready for this. I still want some heat. Of course, we're here for the annual Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic. It's been a blast. We played today, practice round yesterday, played today. Of course, had the mini show last night featuring Smokey Robinson, Jeffrey, Chris Tucker, Johnny Gill. And so we're going to have, of course, the awards show tonight. Raised a bunch of money last night. So welcome to the show, Jeffrey Osborne.
All right.
Glad to have him here. What's up, man?
You helped me out a lot last night.
Yeah, we raised a little money. So, you know, now in previous years, Jeffrey would tell me I was doing the auction. So I was about to go to the bathroom. And he was like, well, Roland. I was like, I guess I'd be doing the auction. So we, of course, gave some items, sold some items, and did what we had to do, raise some money. So tell folks, first of all, what this golf classic does, who it supports.
Well, you know, it's my hometown, Rhode Island, and I figured it was better for me to come back and do something for my hometown, because everybody has...
Your home state.
My home state, right. Well, everybody has something in California, and it's easy there because all the celebrities are there.
Right.
But I wanted to do it here, and it makes it a little bit more difficult because I got to fly people in, but I got some great support. You know, I got people like you that show up, people like Smokey, Chris Tucker, you know, Johnny Gill. Got a great bunch of musicians, and we try to just actually entertain people also. So I have like 6 charities here, and it's mainly youth-driven. You know, we do the Rhode Island...
Just slide over right over here while you're in frame, and we go.
We do the Rhode Island Philharmonic Orchestra because they go to schools and they help people as far as learning how to read music, how to write music, how to perform. So that's important to us, you know. So we do the Rhode Island Orchestra, Philharmonic Orchestra. We do Boys and Girls Club, you know, Boys and Girls Clubs. Everybody knows about the Boys and Girls Club. We all came up in the Boys and Girls Clubs. We do Buttonhole, which is a 9-hole golf course that actually is for young people. And they go to the schools and they teach during recess time kids how to play golf. And so we figured that was important. We do the Met School. It's a high school where you go to learn exactly what you want to do to the next level. So you get to pick and choose the classes you want to better yourself. We do the Amos House, and that's like a safe haven kind of place. They take people off the streets, they feed them, they find them housing. And those are the kind of things that we do that are important to me, important to the support the community. And it feels good, man. It feels good to come back home and be able to do something, you know?
And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. I mean, people always tell me, like, man, you always playing golf somewhere, but not understanding that a lot of these nonprofits really depend upon money being raised. You've got grants being cut on the federal government, on the state government, and so the support of foundations are really important, especially when it comes to the arts.
Oh, without a doubt. That's the first thing that they take away in the schools, especially the public school system. First thing they pull are the arts. And so it's important for all of us as entertainers to speak up. And I go down and I speak, downtown at the, the courts to let them know how important that they need to bring music back into the schools, because music is one of those healing things. And it's actually proven that it helps students' grades, to have music. So we fight for that, and that's important. And, I'm proud to be able to do that here.
And again, and music is universal. I mean, it really is. I don't care. You look out at the audience. I mean, even now, you perform, you got multi-generations sitting out there singing woo-woo and concentrate on you.
Exactly.
So you have grandparents, parents, and their kids.
And it's amazing to see that. When I first started, I never realized that music could last that long and have that longing effect on people. And it's the biggest honor is for people to come up to me and say, hey, I got married to your song 30 years ago. And I'm like, are you still together? Yeah. But yeah, that's the best honor anyone can pay to an artist, to actually get married or something that's really special to them and use your music. That's incredible.
Music also is healing. And earlier this year, a lot of people were surprised when you came to Bethesda, Maryland. Your wife had just passed away.
Right.
And people were like, I can't believe he actually showed up.
Yeah. I had to, because I know her. Because she sets a lot of things up for me. She does a lot of my business. And if I had not done it, I could hear her right now telling me, you better get your butt out there. Don't be sitting around moping and crying. So the toughest thing was I did a show in Las Vegas 4 days after she passed. And I did not want to do it. And my family was saying, Dad, you got to do it. She would really be upset if you didn't do it. So it was the first time.
She wasn't just your wife. She was your manager.
She was my manager. She was everything. She was my best friend. She was everything. And they said, you know what, we'll all go. So it was the first time my whole family in L.A. came to Vegas for that show. And we had breakfast, lunch, dinner. It was the greatest bonding experience for all of us. So, yeah, it is healing. I mean, the first show was tough. I think I cried 90% of the show. But I think people felt the emotion. So it was great to do, yeah.
And so this was, we always would see her here.
Exactly.
She's always running stuff.
Right.
Getting stuff. Always running stuff. And like, hey, you got to go here. You got to go here. You got to go here. And it was, just so y'all understand how she's always running. I don't have many pictures of her. I got like a couple, because she was rarely in the pictures or the videos, because she was always working, doing something.
Yeah, what's incredible is that these shows that I'm still doing, I go out in the audience a lot, and people are handing me cards. They're bringing flowers. They're bringing cards still.
Really?
Yeah, and it's tough, because you're trying to kind of move away and move ahead, and they bring you right back to that space. But I respect them. It's beautiful for them to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, but it also goes to show you, those are true fans.
Exactly.
They're not there just, hey, you sing to me, make me feel good.
Yeah, no, they know about you. They know you're your family person. They know your kids. They know your wife. And it's beautiful to see them come out.
And speaking of that, you got the whole family involved. They got to work the foundations, too.
Yeah. Yes, it's kind of a family thing. I got, my daughter, Tiffany, she kind of runs just about everything. And my nephew, Terrell, between the two of them, they handle everything. I got my nephew, Spin, he's my disc jockey. My son does my live sounds. He's with me all the time. I got nieces, Charlene, that are here. They're helping me. So it's kind of a family thing. And it's nice to do that here in Rhode Island, to have the family support and keep that name going here,
I tell you what's crazy. Every time I tell somebody I'm coming to this golf tournament, they go, Jeffrey from Rhode Island? I mean, every time. People like, from Rhode Island? I was like, yeah. I said the black population of Rhode Island increased every year for 2 days of this golf tournament.
You're right, too. So when I tell people I'm from Providence, Rhode Island, they said, ain't no black people in Providence. I said, well, it is the smallest state, and there's not a big population, but I grew up around the little hood with a lot of black people. So, but comparison to like Houston, Right. It ain't that.
And one of the things that you do, I didn't even think about it until we talked about it yesterday, how you move this tournament around to different places.
Right.
So other courses can be a part of this thing.
Right.
A lot of times it's just at one location.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we moved it around. We even took it out of Rhode Island and went to Foxwoods for a couple of years. And that was great. I mean, they really treated us great. They treated my celebrities great. So, yeah, we do move around. But I really like this place. This is the first time I've been here. I like the people here. I love the golf course. So I'll probably be back here next year to do it.
Okay. How's your golf game?
Golf game was weak today. I mean, it depends. You know, a lot of it depends on who they put you with.
I was crushing the ball.
You was what about the rest of your team?
I was crushing. We had some good putters.
So we
just cannot. It was. I think we finished 6 under.
That's good. We finished way under everybody. I mean, I think we parred 4 holes. And the rest we just picked it up. We kept birdie. It was that bad. It was that bad. But, you know, they put me with the top sponsors. I have to play with them, and you never know who's going to show up. So I had 2 women, 2 guys on the team. And it was,
so y'all were just enjoying yourselves.
It was, we enjoyed the course.
Well, let's let over make sure
we enjoyed the course.
You enjoyed the course and the company.
And the company.
All right, what's next for you? Because you're still listening. You out there. You on the road. Somebody hit me earlier. They were like, somebody said, Jeffy, he's 70, 71. I was like, I said, no, he lived older than that.
No, I'm 77.
No, they said 70.
Oh, I'm 77.
They said 70.
Oh, yeah, I'm a lot older than that.
Oh, yeah. You're older than that.
I'm a lot older than 70.
But you're still out there, you're still singing, performing, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm still out doing it, man. I love what I do, and, you know, when I decide I'm through and don't enjoy it anymore, that's when I'll retire. But right now, I love it. The hardest part is the travel. The airlines suck right now.
Yeah,
it's just terrible. You can miss shows messing around with these airlines.
Yeah, so what you got to go on day early or something like that?
Yeah. Now I have to put a travel day in between shows.
Right.
Before I could do back-to-back shows, and I can only do that unless if we're traveling like a car or something. It's within 100, 200 miles. I can, you know. But other than that.
Jeffrey Osborne and the band in the Winnebago.
We used to do them buses back in the day.
I got it.
Them buses was cool.
Where you going next?
We're in Baltimore Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, be more.
We're in Baltimore Saturday, yeah. So I'm going to stay here a couple days. I'm going to go all the way back to L.A. I live in L.A.
Got it.
And then come back to Baltimore. So I'm going to be my hometown for a couple of days, and then we'll take off Friday and go to Baltimore. All
right, then. Well, man, listen, it's always great to come here and be here and see you and support the cause. So
you always do,
I only missed. Somebody was telling me that last year. And I guess I had COVID last year.
You got sick last year.
Right, because I missed your tournament and Sid's.
Really?
Because I got COVID.
Yeah.
Because I was like, where the hell was I last year?
Yeah.
And it was COVID.
Exactly
but I'm glad to be back.
I'm glad to have you back, man. Seriously, man.
It's always a pleasure. And again, y'all, we raised a lot of money.
We did.
Somebody out there who's watching, they want to support the foundation. Where do they go?
They can go to the website, the Jeffrey Osborne Foundation website, and they can support if they want. We'll have some things on the website. We had a couple of items that didn't go last night. We're going to throw them on the website. So,
cool.
Yeah, if you want to just go to the website, you can donate. You can help. And we're always looking for help.
There you go.
All
right, man.
It's all about the kids. All about the kids.
We getting ready for the post tournament party. So Jeffrey got to go do some work. I'm gonna grab the microphone. I'm gonna see you inside. We'll do that, man. I always see you, baby.
My pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
And I guess it was a little too cool to wear a sheer shirt. Y'all know I mess with Jeffrey all the time. Because I saw Jeffrey 3 or 4 times. Jeffrey in a sheer shirt. So, y'all, it's a running joke. It's a running joke. At the first place winner the golf tournament is going to get a sheer shirt. I'm telling you, I'm going to have something made one year.
You're the only one. You're the only one.
Yeah, I mess with him about the sheer shirt every time.
You sure do. Every time. But it's all good, man.
I know Jeffrey got about 30, 40 sheer shirts at home.
Not anymore.
Okay,
I have them in every color, too.
I see you inside. Y'all, yesterday, that's my man Jeffrey Osborne. Y'all, yesterday, we were coming off the golf course, and the band was practicing. And they were doing sound check. And so it was Chris Tucker, Johnny Gill, and myself. So we said, let's pop on in there. And they were actually...
not anymore.
Okay,
I have every color, too.
Man, I see you inside. Y'all, yesterday, that's my man, Jeffrey Osborne. Y'all, yesterday, we were coming off the golf course, and the band was practicing. And they were doing sound check. And so it was Chris Tucker, Johnny Gill, and myself. So we said, let's pop on in there. And they were actually doing a sound check for My. And well, you know, the three of us crazy, especially those two, so this happened.
Come on, Chris, sing it. I just wanna let you know I'm Johnny's cousin. Chris, we used to sing in the church together. My. God bless y'all.
Absolutely shenanigans here, y'all. I got lots more stuff to show y'all. Smokey Robinson, Richard Dent. We got Claudia Jordan. We got some great stuff to show y'all. So I'll have that for the rest of this week. I'm back in studio tomorrow, y'all, so look forward to being back in D.C. Let me thank Mustafa and Larry for being on today's show. Gentlemen, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Always a pleasure to have y'all here on the panel, so I certainly appreciate it. Had a ball here, so like I say, we got to head to the post-tournament party, so looking forward to that. So let me go ahead and wrap this thing up. Folks, don't forget, y'all want to support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Your dollars make it possible for us to cover the stores all across the country. So when you give, you support this show, paying the staff, all the different costs. You know, it's $195,000 a month, y'all. If y'all could actually see right here. So I've got my camera here. I got the microphone. I got the monitor. I got 4 lights, the live view, the portable batteries, all this sort of stuff. Fits right in my 22-inch away suitcase. I call it my portable studio. And so that's what we do when I'm telling about myself. But when we doing bigger shows, man, we roll with a whole bunch of stuff. So your support is critical. If you want to give you a cash out, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here, bottom left-hand corner. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks and money orders, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037 7-0196. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get our Roland Martin Unfiltered swag, Black Star Network swag. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Get our T-shirts, our hats, our mugs, all that good stuff. When you buy our products, that money comes also back into the show. Support the Black-owned businesses that we have in our marketplace on shopblackstarnetwork.com. We just had, of course, hashtag End Stereotypes. We had them on today, so go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. And also, don't forget, get my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. More important now, more than ever, with all of this rising white Christian nationalism going on. Y'all, I called this 16 years ago, a prophetic voice. And I'm telling y'all, this thing is real. So get White Fear. And, of course, we want you to support the app Fanbase. Download the app. And, of course, if you want to invest, get more information at startengine.com/fanbase, startengine.com/fanbase. Folks, that's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow live from the Black Star Network studios in the nation's capital. Folks, so I look forward to it. I'll see y'all tomorrow right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Holla!